I'm Chuck Mason, and welcome back to the show. I've got another story about growing up with the greatest generation. And this is a story about my Uncle Blair. This is what my experiences were like growing up as a kid. My Uncle Blair was actually my mom's cousin, and he was best friends with my mom's brother, my uncle. He was Uncle Pete. I went trout fishing one spring when I was about 12 years old up to Blair's camp up in Potter County in Pennsylvania. And Pete and Blair were like as close as you possibly could be. And after a day of fishing, the whiskey came out. And after a couple rounds, they started telling stories. Blair was a member of the 17th Airborne, and he jumped behind German lines in Operation Varsity. He had actually fought in the Bulge before that. He eventually lost his leg. He got shot and lost a leg almost at the conclusion of the war. So Blair starts telling stories about what it was like for hand-to-hand combat. And more importantly, what it was like to stick a bayonet in somebody's ribs. And even more importantly, how difficult it was to extract said bayonet from the rib cage as you were trying to extract your weapon so you could engage the next German that was coming at you. What's it take to do that? What's it take as a human being to resolve that you're going to stand and fight like that and put yourself through that? Not only that, but come back and to rebuild a world and build a country and a community. I'm going to tell you exactly what this was. These men were guided by a set of principles that were unshakable and unmovable. That were things like freedom, that they were going to protect at all costs, the country that gave them that freedom that they were going to protect at all costs, their wives and children and families that they were going to protect at all costs, and the values that were instilled in this country that they took and propelled them to go to war that they were going to protect at all costs. Let me explain how this worked for them. And this is what built a country and also saved somebody like Blair on a battlefield, which was this. When they were faced with difficult decisions, it didn't matter whether they were going to go to hand-to-hand combat and they were going to impale somebody with a bayonet. They made their decisions based upon the principles that guided them, not their feelings, not their desires, not their emotions, not their agendas, not what was going to benefit them at any given moment. They did what was right, and they did it at every cost possible to themselves. So that element that made Blair stand and fight and not run was the same thing that made him stay faithful in his marriage, to protect and preserve in every way, shape, and form here in America. And that's part of the problem we have in today with the United States, and the difficulties we see is that people don't make decisions like that. They make decisions in the moment based upon what's best for them. What do they feel? What do they desire? What do they want? What don't they want? And when you do that, you end up with chaos. We ask ourselves, how did they do what they did in every circumstance that they faced? And that was it. They had a set of principles that guided their decisions. And they stuck to them. They didn't give up. And they didn't turn and run, but they stand and fought. So I want to ask you today, what are your principles? Do you have any? Do you think you need principles to live by? And if you don't have them, where do you think you're going to find them? What does guide you as you make your decisions every day? And are they leading you to the life and the success that you want? Let us know down in the comments, and let us know where you're at, where you're going, and the direction, and what you think you'll find. Thanks again for being a part of the program. I'm Chuck Mason. Like, share, subscribe. And until then, thank you and God bless.